And basically I help entrepreneurs leverage LinkedIn, find their clientele on LinkedIn, and do that consistently. So I cover clarity around your brand story, your brand's positioning, your messaging, your offers, creating demand generation for your offers, lead generation, outreach, streamlining your nurturing process with your leads, and also working on your visibility strategy. So basically streamlining everything that translates to smooth client acquisition on LinkedIn. That is what I do. And today I have my tribe with me on Zoom. And if you haven't, please mute your microphone to avoid or is it me? Or is it me? Let me just mute a few guys and then I'll be back. Okay. And so today I want to share just a few profiles of these entrepreneurs I've been looking at on LinkedIn.
Yes.
And they have, oh, thank you so much. And they have exceptionally well done profiles. Like their positioning is so good on LinkedIn. They are basically standing out. You cannot go to their profiles and like potelea. The messaging is so clear. And I'm gonna point out just a few things on their profiles, the top heavy part, and then the rest of the things we're gonna talk about next week during the challenge. And then I'm gonna go through a few of their content, quality content that sells them and builds community. That, and our third point, leveraged expert audiences to increase their reach and grow their community. It's basically genius what they've done, because for somebody, imagine coming onto LinkedIn, you have 0 followers, you have 0 connections, and you're leveraging other people's audiences to grow your own with potential buyers. That is what I call genius. And it's nothing, imagine, difficult. It's so simple. It's ridiculously simple. And this is exactly what we're going to be doing during the challenge, during the 1 month challenge. So for those in my audience who haven't yet bought their ticket, it's $100 USD. And I'm going to leave the link to buy in the comments. All right. So this is just a few, the first two. This is Hope. These are guys you can connect with. This is Hope Noah. I won't say the other name because I might butcher it and get problems. This is Teslimat. You'll notice they both have cover images. You know, it's not just the gray default given by LinkedIn. You'll notice they have professional images, you know, done by a professional photographer. I'm not saying you have to do that yourself, just as long as it's something that portrays you, you know, vizuri, like really well, and you feel comfortable being seen like that. There are others who choose to do the suit and tie looking corporate. If that's your jam, you can do that. There are others who choose to go the cultural way, wear kitenges and our tribal, you know, our tribal stuff. As long as you feel comfortable and that is how you want people to interpret you and how you want, because it also attracts your people of your kind. You know, I know a LinkedIn coach who has tattoos like everywhere, on her hands, everywhere, and she doesn't cover up. She doesn't cover up. When you go to her profile picture, that is the first thing that you see. And as a result, most of her one-to-one clients, most of her coaching clientele are people with piercings, are people who are tatted all over, because they associate with her, you know, and they see her as somebody to emulate because she's leveraged LinkedIn just the way she is, you know. And so if it's something you feel, this is how I want people to see me, then I encourage you to go and do however you want to do. And I have these two profiles here today because Nigeria, oh my God, all Nigerians on LinkedIn. This guy is 17-year-old. He's called Prosperity. And I'm gonna just zoom in a little later. He's 17 years old. He's on LinkedIn. He has multiple businesses, And he's also hosting the TEDx talks in the first TEDx talk in Lagos this weekend. He's the host. He's 17 years old. Come on, like, guys, and look at his profile. He just says he sold 5,000 USD in less than 12 months. I bet some of you have done more than that. You know, I bet some of you have done more than that, but he is using that as a way to sell himself, right? So on our first topic on how to create a standout profile, look at this. This profile looks really good. I mean, right? A branded professional image for your profile picture. I need you guys to mute, please. Look at that. And you'll notice he has his profile photo, and behind him, he's used his brand colors just to make him pop out, because most of us use the images, I mean the background on our photos, or have the colorless background, which gives you a whitish thing on your background on LinkedIn, but this makes you pop out. And also the reason why you use brand colors on such a place is because you want people to identify immediately and to associate this color with you. So when I see this maroonish color anywhere on LinkedIn, I know immediately it's Richard Chukwu's. This guy joined LinkedIn a few weeks ago, like maybe a month or two ago, and he's now at 7,000 followers just by leveraging community and creating great content. Great content. Now, as we go to slide 2, let's look at this cover image. Instead of having, go and look at your profile. After we're done with this, I'm not going to go through over the whole profile, just the top part that I've screenshot around here, and you can go and look at yours. Of course, we'll optimize all our profiles during the challenge, all right? But just for you to get an idea of what we're going to be doing, this, you consider this cover image over here your own personal billboard. Why not advertise yourself? Look at this. It grabs the eye. Like the moment you land on somebody's profile, if they have optimized this cover image, your eye is immediately drawn to that. Your brand colors are there. You could have your logo over there. You could have your website over there. You could have your email address. But what is really prominent is your purpose on LinkedIn, what you do for your audience, what you do for your clientele, the problem you solve for them. Make it very obvious to see over here. I know with Hope, she advertises her foundation, the Almana, and she does a lot of stuff around bridging the generations, women generations in Africa, like the younger generation, the older generation, like bridging the gap. That's what our content is about. And I think it's made clear over there. Now, your takeaway on that is, don't waste that opportunity. It's a place to sell yourself, and it's not competing for space. Look at that. It's just like over there grabbing attention. So you have to make use of that, and we're going to be doing that. This is a headline for a copywriter, and I took this specifically because I wanted you guys to look at how she's positioned herself. She calls herself your hypnotic copywriter. Just by that, she's set herself apart from all other copywriters. You want to wonder, you immediately, question why hypnotic, And then she says, I write compelling copy and content, all right, that skyrockets your conversions, that positions herself as a solution to her clients, skyrockets your conversions. That is something everyone wants, every entrepreneur wants. And how does she do it? Using hypnotic words that drive sales. So simple, it's just one line that is just well constructed, but it does everything. It does everything. And then she ends that with send me a DM for more information. So if after you read that, and I keep telling people about the importance of having call to actions, because after people have read how good you are, that you can give them conversions, you want to give them a plan on what to do next, give them a call to action. So that is what we're going to be talking about next week, how to craft that one-liner positioning message. And this is, oh my God, this is prosperity. Yani, you can't not admire this guy. And this is not the first 17-year-old I've seen on LinkedIn from Nigeria. This is the second one. The first one I saw was a content writer, a lady, and her introduction post was I think her schools had gone on strike and she was at home, and she's like, I know I write great essays, so I'm here with time on my hands. I'd love to help you create content on social media, and It went viral, that post, and the Nigerian community came out and supported her so crazily on her content. The last time I checked, it was at 1,000 something comments. And scrolling through the comments, you'll see I'll reach out to you, check your inbox, check your please accept my connection request. It was like that. So that 17-year-old right now, I'm sure she did not expect that kind of business coming through to her. And just because she was bold enough to put herself out there, and not feeling like some type of way because she's 17, she does not have experience, all that. And it's valid, it's valid questions I think we ask ourselves concerning LinkedIn. Like, you're like, oh, you start comparing yourself to the next person. But as long as you own your journey and you set yourself for the longer term goals, I think the little steps you need to take in the middle won't matter so much. They won't stop you from moving. And so this is prosperity. A 17-year-old, he's hosting TEDx Lagos this weekend. And I wanted us to look at his heading. He says, I help startups. This is what we're reading. I help startups and established brands gain 50% more market share. That's a solution. Using my DET strategy that has made my business 5,000 USD in less than 12 months. How many of you, and I started this presentation asking how many of you have made more than $5,000 in the last 12 months and you haven't leveraged that for your business? If nothing else, and these are things that people identify with. When you're building your brand, you want to position yourself not as a peer. If you told people here we're all facing these problems together, and can you imagine the kind of he wouldn't get any response. But he's offering a solution to people. This is a problem I've solved for myself, and therefore I know for sure I can solve for you. All right. And I get people asking me, if I do not have clients, how do I start? You start with yourself, you volunteer time, and you trade with people, you get yourself out there and leverage other people's expert audiences, something I'm gonna be sharing in the next slide. Hey, I'm so glad for internet. Tell me in the comments what you haven't done on your profile. If you're on your LinkedIn profile, do you have a heading? What don't you have on your LinkedIn profile? I looked at some of yours. You don't have cover photos, and the messaging. Sometimes I think we get carried away with writing our own messages. We become so wordy and lose our clients. We make our clients think too much around, okay, what's the solution for me? How do I get the solution? What do I benefit? What's the process? We lose our clients in the wordy stuff. I remember when I started last year, around mid last year, when I started offering LinkedIn VA services, I remember reaching out to a coach on LinkedIn, and she looked at my profile. She's like, so what do you help clients with? I'm like, I help them with lead generation. And then there's, I don't know, some word I was using for content creation and all these big terms. And she kept asking me without, without using all this vocabulary, what do you do for your clients? Now I know it's simply helping people get clients on LinkedIn. But then I was like, what does this woman mean? So I've told her I do lead generation, I do content, I nurture, you know, all these things. And she's like, no, like without all that. I'm like, I don't get it. And we've never spoken since then. But I'll reach out to her because that question kept bugging me. Like the whole of last year, and the beginning of last year, I was like, what do I do really? What does she mean by that, you know? And so a part of what we're going to be doing, the biggest part we'll do on LinkedIn is just streamline your brand's positioning and your brand's message and your brand story. What solution are you offering? Who it's for, and why you? Why should people pay you and not somebody else? Why you? What makes you that asset? Because like I say, as a service-based entrepreneur, you as the brand, whether you like it or not, you'd better like own up to it early, sooner rather than later, because then it's gonna benefit you more. Okay, you are the brand. You're not selling a shoe. The shoe is the brand. If it's Nike or whatever, when you're in the service-based business, it's you, your attitude, your behavior, your background, your experience, your education, your skills, like everything, your interactions with people, it's everything. It's you who makes the brand. So the easier we streamline how you come into the equation and how you deliver the solution to your clientele, the better. So then if you haven't paid for the challenge, come join us. I'll have the link after this live session. Okay, so points 2 and 3 on how the Nigerian entrepreneurs have leveraged LinkedIn and how we're also gonna do it is by creating quality content that sells them and builds community at the same time. And I joined these two, and I want to talk about these two at the same time because
nikamaliza viazi akawalipa ama something. Angeshanipigia kama angekuwa na pressure.
Let me ask somebody to mute. All right, thank you. So creating quality content. I've been looking at all these entrepreneurs on LinkedIn, and none of them are creating like Huawei content, like fluff content. None of them. You either when you go through the post, you're either coming out of it with having learned something, having been challenged in some way, having learned something about, you know, the author of the post, having been introduced to another expert you didn't know about. There's just value in their post, and they don't keep talking about themselves and how good they are and how they're going to deliver. Actually, no. What I've seen is a lot of leveraging expert audiences, which basically means leveraging other people's audiences by cross-promoting, cross-marketing, cross-mentioning each other on different posts. Like this is Richard Shoku, the brand strategist. I told you, he came onto LinkedIn like a few weeks back. He had 1,000 followers at that time when we connected. He's now at 7,000. You know, he's grown his community. He's grown his presence. If you look at his posts, he's posted more than I have in the last in the period he's been online on LinkedIn. He's also grown his followership to around 8K and has become a brand ambassador for a cause that he believes in. How could he do that? How could he do all that? There's something I have seen, and it's magical to watch. There's so much support between the entrepreneurs in Nigeria. because the cross-mentioning isn't just like I create a post and just tag whoever. No, it's, you can see these are people, they know each other, or they admire each other, or their expertise sort of complement each other, but there's genuine support for each other's posts. Now, if you've been on LinkedIn for a while, you know, when, let's say I have Sandra here in my audience who has 100,000 followers on LinkedIn, and I have 1,000 followers. What happens when I put a post that Sandra comments on? When Sandra comments on my post, a huge chunk of the 100K followers of Sandra's are gonna see my post just because Sandra commented on it. That is how LinkedIn is set up. And the Nigerian entrepreneurs have leveraged that like no one's business, helping Richard to grow to almost 8K in just a few weeks. And that's a problem that myself, I didn't figure out early to, you know, kind of propel myself. I felt like, and I'm going to talk about this later because it's very, very personal, how I wanted to just do it on my own, like just know, Namatasi, you can do this by your own. And it's that kind of attitude has really made my business not grow at the rate I would have wanted it to grow. Collaboration is a key aspect of your visibility strategy, and it's something we're going to be using in the challenge. So as you come onto the challenge, you're not going to be just reaching out to potential clients. You're going to be looking at potential collaborations, people who are selling their services to your potential clients, like other services. Maybe let me give you an example. If I'm a social media manager, if I collaborate with an email automation expert who targets the same crowd, I'm targeting maybe doctors, and he or she does the same thing, does email automations for doctors, that's a prime opportunity for us to collaborate, right? Because ultimately, if I host this person on my audience of doctors, our services are not clashing, they're building on each other, all right? And she might find clients through my audience, I might find clients through her audience, and we can do this by going live or just creating cross mentions and cross promotional material through our content, all right? So I'm done with my presentation. That is what I wanted to show you, but you can follow these guys and go and witness for yourselves, all right? I'll just share my last these guys. Just go and look at their content and see how they're supporting each other. And it's not like fluff the way people do it with bots and what are they called, engagement pods. It's different. Like you can see everyone who's commenting on their post, they read the article, they've taken away something, you know, because that's the problem with using engagement pods. Most people in this pods are they're not even interested in your content, but they'll comment for the sake of commenting, you know. And even you whose post is being commented on, with fluff people you know, who do not care so much about your content or your solutions or whatever, it feels shallow, you know, like it sort of undermines your work and the time you've put in to like grow your expertise and your solution, right? So we're gonna be hunting for our potential clients, like the direct buyers. We're also gonna be hunting for collaborations and partnerships. We're also going, and I'm going to show you how I've been helping my clients during the nurturing process, how to qualify your clients in the DMs, how to start the conversation, how to even reach out and connect, where to find all these clients on LinkedIn. If you do not have Sales Navigator, where are these clients? Where are you gonna find them? Because at some point you're gonna hit the corporate threshold for search on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is like that. Like if you get a point, you get only the top 3. If you don't have Sales Navigator, then 1. You search, you do an entire search, you get 1 result, and then the rest are blurred out. So this is exactly what we're gonna be doing in the challenge. Drop a fire in the comment, a fire emoji in the comments if you feel like this is gonna be helpful to you. If you feel like this is something doable, something you can do, something you can commit to, creating a profile that stands out like this. I'll have you note that none of these guys, by the way, have shoddy profile pictures. None of them. I'm not saying you have to go to a professional photographer. You can just take a really clear picture with your phone and edit it maybe, but they have really good photos, and it does give you like it just gives you like a level up, you know. On LinkedIn, go and look for them. Those who have those who are not creating content with graphics, they're accompanying their post with really good profiles, really good profile pictures that just attention, you know. And that is what we need to do. So if all this sounds